Up, everybody? Welcome back to another Perry's Corner with Kevin.
I'm Corey.
And today we're talking about Marvel Madness. We just found out that they're probably not going to do another Blade movie. Uh, Corey, what's up with that?
I'm not necessarily surprised at this because it's been about almost 6 years since they introduced Mahershala Ali as Blade, and we haven't gotten a movie yet. There's been a ton of new directors, new writers for the movie, and they just can't get it to flow right. And at this point, I don't necessarily see them or point in making a Blade movie. I think it would more be better off as a special presentation like they did Werewolf by Night. But right now, I don't see a Blade movie happening.
Is there a need for one? Because right now in the MCU, it's not a lot of vampires that they
Mhm.
introduce into the MCU. So, like, what would be the need for a standalone Blade movie?
I 100% agree. Like I see your point. Like right now, they're trying to introduce the mysticism. Like that's what they've been doing with Doctor Strange, but he just went off to a whole nother dimension with Clea. So I don't necessarily see him dealing with vampires. They've mentioned vampires at least twice in the MCU, but you still haven't seen one. So do we need a movie for it? Not really. Like I said, I think a special presentation would be perfect for it. A little 45-minute show, but other than that, we don't need a Blade movie.
Well, and to your point with Doctor Strange, I think that that would be the only way that they could introduce it because yeah, Doctor Strange is right now he's venturing off into these other dimensions and maybe, but that would mean it would have to be a Doctor Strange slash Blade movie. So like, would Blade be the main character? Would Doctor Strange be the main character?
They
That's the
don't
only
need
way I can see it happening.
they don't need to do that. They could introduce, like if they were going to do a movie, they could do a Midnight Suns movie because Doctor Strange is a part of that, and so is Blade. So they can have Blade, Doctor Strange, Punisher, Ghost Rider. They can introduce Ghost Rider finally. So it's like they could do that, but they don't necessarily have to have a standalone Blade movie. And I think the old, like even with how old Mahershala Ali is right now, for as much time has passed, he's not as young as he used to be
Right.
running like that.
No
He's
shade to him. No shade.
no
But
shade to him. He's not as young as he used to be, and like at this point, would you want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade?
good
Like
point.
because I think what they were gonna do is remember the guy from Rebel Ridge, the main
Right.
actor. He
Hmm.
was supposed to be in the Blade movie as a villain. Now I can see him playing Blade because he's young. He had like he
He's
doesn't.
fit.
He's fit. He's an up and coming actor because I don't think I've seen him in a whole lot. So that's the type of actor I would want to see. Somebody new and fresh that we can actually like build a character around.
Mm.
Like that I can see as a Blade, but not no shade to Mahershala,
Right,
but
right. But
and he's already played
that's,
Cottonmouth. He's already played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
well, that's
So
true.
would this be a variant at this
And
point?
yeah, and so like yeah, that is I think is too much time has passed. Like his season when he was on top and like Green Book, and a couple other movies that he's played. I love him as an actor. But
Mhm.
as an action superhero, like yes, 6 years ago, I could see that.
Yeah,
But now,
he
yeah.
just I think that was around when he was on top because he had a bunch of movies out that he even got awards for at the time. So at that time, you could have seen Mahershala Ali play that character. But now I don't think he's done anything in the last 6 years besides like really push this movie. I know he's in the new Jurassic Park movie coming out, but other than that, I don't have a movie that's memorable that he's been in the last couple of years.
Oh, that's true. And you brought up some other prospects for Marvel, like you know the Ghost Rider series. Now, Nicolas Cage, I give him credit. I think he's a good actor for some of the things that he's done. I didn't
Mhm.
particularly like the Ghost Rider movies, especially the second one. I thought the second one was trash.
Second was a piece of work. But and we don't necessarily have to have him come back as Ghost Rider either.
No, absolutely
Like,
not.
what I can see is if they were gonna bring him back, it will be the same way that they did like Blade and Elektra in the Deadpool movie. So have him cameo, but he's not the new Blade. I mean, not the
Right.
new Ghost Rider. Introduce somebody else. Like, you even have the Ghost Rider. Like, I don't think you watched Agents of Shield, but even the characters from them, they had a Ghost Rider in that. You can reintroduce him, and he could have been your Ghost Rider. Like,
Okay.
they have prospects of characters that they've used before in their projects. It's just how do you bring those over?
Yeah, and part of the conversation that we were having the other day, this past Sunday, as a matter of fact, was that correlation between DC and Marvel. How Marvel has, to me, has so many more characters that I definitely would want to see. Maybe because I've been pro Marvel all my life. I read Superman as a kid because of course he's the Man of Steel. So he was prevalent for DC back then. Batman, he was prevalent. Then they had the Justice League. But when
Mm,
Marvel came on the scene, they had so many more interesting characters. I sh-
yes.
that I know that they're Silver Surfer. We haven't had a Silver Surfer movie, a standalone.
We're
We have
we're
one.
we're supposed to be getting a special presentation, I believe, for Silver Surfer to introduce. Yeah, we're supposed to get one.
Can we do a standalone Silver Surfer movie?
You don't need one. That's why I say you
Why not? I love Silver Surfer. Why
because
not one standalone?
it's the same way as the Blade movie right now. Like, for one, you love the Silver Surfer, yes, but there's the majority of the Marvel Universe of fans know who's or not Marvel Universe fans, just majority of people do they know who Silver Surfer is to get excited to go see a movie for him.
Well, we got introduced to him in Fantastic Four. So that
Yes, but
I think that snippet.
that was a generation who hasn't like there's it's for the 20 years that Marvel has been out, you have a whole generation of children who don't even know who that is, who have no clue who Silver Surfer is. So they have no reason to be like excited to go to the movies to see that character. People like us who grew up reading comic books and watching shows, we could be excited, but are you going to reach that other 45 to 50% of the audience?
Well, they tried that with the Eternals because as much as I knew about Marvel,
Mhm.
and I guess because at some point as you get older, you're not as into it as you used to be. I had no clue who the Eternals were. But yet, it's a Marvel movie, so I still had to support it just to see how it fit into
Mhm.
their timeline. So reintroducing the Silver Surfer character, I think, because he is a powerful hero, anti-hero ish type person, I think
Mhm.
that will go over well.
Well, that's why I said they're getting right now. They're developing a special presentation like the Werewolf by Night for the Silver Surfer. So that I can get on board with, but I can't get on board with a whole movie dedicated to the Silver Surfer. Just that character alone. I can't see that happening.
All right, so if you had this, if you were like, okay, Marvel says Corey,
Mhm.
what direction? would you like us to see us do a movie standalone? What character would you like to see us build a movie around?
Oh, they're already doing it with Doom. So, what
So
other
then,
characters?
now talking back to the Fantastic Four.
See, but that's the thing. So things that we already should be expecting are the Fantastic Four and Doom and the Silver Surfer. So then you have Galactus, who's also the big bad. So you right now we're in a phase where those are characters that we're about to introduce. Now you ask me who I would want to see a movie about specifically. That would most likely be a X-Men character or something like that. So I don't have a character in mind that I'm like, man, this who I want to see a movie about, like right off the top of my head. But I would more like to see what Marvel does with the X Men universe and how they bring them in right now.
Sony has ruined a lot of these movies because if you bring the X Men in,
Hmm.
and of course Wolverine was my favorite X Men of all time. If you do, like, how can Marvel reintroduce the X Men so that it's something new, that is something fresh? Because we've done origin stories. Like I don't want to see another X Men origin. I don't want to see like. And then for me, there's only been one Wolverine ever that could play that role, and that's Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman, I 100% agree. What Marvel could do is, to me, if they're gonna do X Men, you have to have the right actors play those roles. So the only person that I could see playing like Cyclops right now would be Henry Cavill. That's the only person I can see because right now we have no other person who's big and stocky like he is, and that
Mm-hmm.
is known to the people as an actor than Henry Cavill. Like I don't see anyone else filling that role right now to be a standout, to be a leader.
Mm.
Um, I don't know what direction they would have to go with Jean Grey or Storm. You got to have prominent people to play those roles. But for storyline, they could do a lot. Like they could for what we're about to do with Doom, they could introduce Battle World and have the X Men fight the Avengers and just like have it do that. I'm not sure which way we're going with it, but I'm just
Yeah.
throwing ideas for them.
It, I just think, unless we're doing timeline variants and different timelines and things like that, going back in time, I
Well,
think.
you have to think about it it because I watch these movies like a lot, and I watch a lot of breakdowns and everything. You have to think about it when you look at the last Captain Marvel movie. It wasn't a great movie, but at the end of it, they introduced X Men from a different universe because that's where Monica Rambeau, I think was her
Mm,
name, she went to another universe and ended up with the X Men. So you have to think those characters or that universe at some point is going to come into play in the Marvel universe right now, and it's just we have to figure out which how they're going to tie that in along with everything that's probably coming with Doom and the Fantastic Four. You got the next Spider-Man movie coming out, so I don't know which way Marvel is going right now.
nobody does. I don't
I
think
have
they.
no clue. I don't think they do it because you have so many movies that have to come out in the next 5 years. Because we have to have Shang Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3, Spider Man 4,
Mm,
Thor 5. We don't need another Thor
we
movie.
do not need another Thor movie, Marvel. If you're
We
watching,
don't.
we don't need another Thor movie.
But it's it's like before Endgame and everything, those first three phases, we had a cohesive storyline that we could actually follow at the end of each movie. You
Right.
knew which direction we were going. Since Endgame, it's like they dropped the bag and dropped out all the pieces. Like, all right, we can pick up some of this, we can pick up some of this, and try. We can try and fit these together. Yeah, we don't know what we're
Right.
doing. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I guess right now we're just like everybody else. We're at the wait and see, you know.
yeah, pretty much.
But But hey, listen, when you watch this broadcast, hey, if you think that, something that you would like to see Marvel do, drop a comment. Let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are about Marvel, about Blade, what Marvel movie that you would like to see as a standalone movie or whatever.
Yeah, just leave it in the comments below. We'll check it out and maybe leave some questions there. We'll bring up some questions next time and read them off and try and answer them.
All right. Hey, this is Kevin from Perry's Corner.
I'm Corey.
All right. And we will see you next time.